It's prestwich.org.uk.
Yeah.
But if you drop the UK, you end up somewhere else and buy shoes or something. I don't know.
So how long have you been doing it?
Well, it's been under a few domains, but I think I started really in anger when my dad died. So it's over 20 years, to be honest,
Right.
in various guises.
So can I ask you, given that obviously you're focusing on Prestwich, how big is the Jewish community to that story?
The Jewish community have really it's funny because whenever I look at it, it's quite fragmented. There's different congregations, and over the decades and centuries, they've come and gone, different congregations, because they've come in from different countries. There was a congregation that met down at Strangeways at Sabrina Street. I think it was some kind of Methodist church originally. It's knocked down now. But then when the Methodists moved out, the Jewish congregation moved in. And then they moved out, and for a while they were in the basement of what was the Odeon cinema in Sedgley Park. It's now Lidl. They were in there for a while, and now they're in the synagogue on Bury Old Road. So it's quite transitory, and they come and go. I did another article about the old cemetery, the Jewish cemetery up opposite Longfield, near Richard Sounds up there, opposite the Foresters. There's a Jewish cemetery there. And again, that congregation has been and gone. So nobody was looking after that cemetery, and now the Jewish community have come together to look after it. But it's because you post out, people sort of get involved and say, why is this in such a state? Why are the trees so overgrown? Why are the stones broken? And it's like, well, the congregation closed 120 years ago. They've moved on. So there's no family looking after it, and it's all very transitory. So I do look into that side of things as well, but I suppose the modern Jewish story is really kind of where I stop, because I kind of get to the latest census, which for me is 1911. You have to pay for 1921. So after that, I kind of leave it, unless they appear on the 1939. So I have a bit of a World War II Jewish contribution as well, with the War Memorial at Rainser and various stories. So yeah, it's a big cooking pot. Yeah. Well, my name's John Bleasdale, and I've come down to have a look at the inside of the Shubries synagogue, because I pass it very often, but I rarely come inside. And I do know that there's, allegedly, there's a war memorial in here commemorating the dead of both wars, I believe. But the Imperial War Museum webpage doesn't have a photo of it and doesn't have any records of it. But it knows it exists, but it doesn't have any details. So I'm poking my head in to see what it really is about. So I did a story about a Greek merchant who lived at what is now Heathlands care home, a guy called Dimitri Hardy. And I was talking to someone about it, because he's buried in St Mary's Churchyard, actually, even though he's Greek. He's buried at St Mary's because the Greek Orthodox on Bury New Road doesn't have a burial ground. And they were saying, they remembered Dimitri Hardy, but he thought his surname was Hardy and his forename was Dimitri, like Laurel and Hardy. So I said, no, Dimitri Hardy was his surname. His first name was like Anthony or Stephen. But he used to drive around in a Silver Ghost Rolls Royce, and he'd park up at the end of Heathlands Drive. His chauffeur would get his little stool out, and Dimitri Hardy would sit down, and there'd be a row of urchins from Kersal and Rainser. This is at Christmas, and they'd get a shilling off him, or a penny, or whatever the currency was at that time. And I was speaking to someone, and they said they remembered him. It's in like the 1950s, 1960s, because there was a couple of generations of Dimitri Hardys lived at Heathlands, and they actually remembered getting a coin off him at Christmas. They said it was brilliant. So it's all those weird kind of links, and if I didn't write them down, I'd forget them. But also people wouldn't contact me with their memories and recollections as well. So yeah, it really opens up doors, sharing stuff out there.